right, stand by. What is up, Patreon crew? Welcome to the after show with Gary Robbins Claus. I can't, like, we were just talking about how many prizes we had to give away. We were overwhelmed with the amount of support that the brands really wanted to give us. Like, we reach out to some, and some jump the gun and get to us because they know that it's a big deal. It was wonderful this year. Like, everyone was really gracious, including Gary. Like, I think I thought it was a joke. Gary's first...
I actually told you, I'm like, you better email Gary to make sure this is what he wants to give away.
Because you normally you do like a Squamish entry, and I think you do a couple other things.
Yeah, but you've been doing this for years now, and I feel like, you know, anybody that's been associated with it for that long, and I'm sure that's what you've gotten from the other brands as well. I mean, everybody sees great value in it. We love what you're doing. And it was one of those, like, why don't I donate kind of one of every entry, one of everything that we produce? There's no reason not to. And so I'm glad you got a chance to give that away. But yeah, you had so many prizes. It was like just giveaways all night long tonight.
It really was. I'm like, man, I just want to talk to Gary. Is Gingermas in the future just going to be no prizes, no run hunt, just talk to Gary? I'd be down.
And forgetting that you're like counting
I'll never
straight
forget that.
booze.
I'll tell you what, after I have a great race at Hurt in almost exactly 4 weeks, let's do like an actual proper chat about stuff again.
We will. That's a great idea. I just think it means that Kim and I have to go to Hawaii now.
Hey, I'm not planning to have any crew, but I would
we're not
some ice cream deliverers during the race.
We wouldn't crew you, but we would crew the second place person, because that's assuming you're first place.
But I also like when we were there last time when Gary was there, we weren't there to crew you, but then we ended up like staying up all night long.
Yeah.
Like, this is amazing.
Are you gonna hang out with Arnstein? Is it too soon? I won't. Let's not bring it up. That's fine. I was making a joke. Too much bourbon.
Well, that's the end of the live show. I mean, post show.
We're in the after show. Our wonderful Patreon supporters and maybe have already read the headline, but this has nothing to do with Gary. This was a joke purely about the guy who has won the race in the past. Unfortunately, got arrested, doing some not so great things apparently. But yeah, that's that.
Google Michael Ernst.
Google.
Yeah, he came up against some legal issue. Yeah, and Google is how he ended up. Unfortunate story. But I won't be spending time visiting Michael Ernst.
I was gonna say we'll leave it at that. So again, Patreon crew, thank you guys so much for the support this year, and the participation in Gingermas was through the roof. I don't think we anticipated the amount of participation that we got, and you are all a huge factor in that. If you are in this little live chat room, please jump in there with questions for Gary. We are happy to field some questions for Gary, because this is like it's like your first show or even interview or public appearance in months.
Honestly, after the Barkley this year, I just shut down the media cycle. I had no interest in it. I didn't want to go down that road again. And, you know, in 2017, I did 36 interviews about the race. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to say no now. And I started saying no to people. And this year I just said no off the top. Didn't want to rehash things, and obviously wasn't pleased with the outcome. So yeah, it's funny because I didn't even think about this till you just mentioned it, but I haven't actually done any media whatsoever. This is the first right here. And then we talked about earlier, I've also been off social media entirely since Halloween. So yeah, I'm coming out of my shell tonight.
But like, I love it, man. Gary and I, for those of you who are tuning in for this after show here, we were talking a little bit before the show about pulling back from social media and not trying not to be like ever present, whether it's tweeting every day multiple times or Instagram, and like just being in that cycle of scrolling and having that access all the time. And I've been consciously trying to pull back from that in the last like 4 months. It's really hard. It's really hard. But Gary has done like full cold turkey, rarely posting anything. I think you posted once or twice, like a tweet or something about races, or just, you know, that you were excited about the results.
Halloween was the last posting that I did anything on.
Right.
And then I think 2 days after Halloween, we were doing a coaching seminar, and I still put out a tweet about that. I think like maybe November 3rd was the last time I actually logged into Twitter, but I haven't even glanced at anything since then. And it's been good. It's healthy. It's nice to take breaks and things. It's not permanent. It can't be, and it shouldn't be. And And personally, I mean, honestly, I don't find that I'm on social media too much. I just don't have the luxury of that time. But I did find that social media had changed for me in the last couple of years, and I was coming to terms with how it had altered and what it needed to be for me to still draw happiness from it. Most importantly was I found that my shutdown cycle at the end of the day was social media heavy, and I just wasn't reading proper books anymore. I had gotten really out of reading books, and I would consume articles and stuff online, but just not reading books. So I also made a pact with myself: I'm going to stop social media, and I'm not even going to think about going back online until I've read 4 books. And
Right.
I've got through 4. I'm on to my 5th, and it's been really nice to redirect that time I have each day into consuming literature rather than just kind of scrolling through social media. And there's a healthy balance, and it's different for everybody, and it'll be slightly different for myself. And I'm just now starting to entertain what that looks like for me as an individual, what I would enjoy to utilize and what I don't really see myself going back to. And weirdly enough, I thought I would really miss Twitter, and I don't. And I don't know that I'm going to spend much time back in there. Not to get political, but I just find it a bit too difficult to be on there every day, just seeing the political nature of everything, and a lot of negativity coming through there. So we'll see. In the next few weeks, I think I'll probably come back to Instagram and then have a greater balance on a day-to-day of what is healthy for me and what's meaningful for me. And that's what's been nice over the last 6 weeks going into 7, is understanding unexpectedly what was meaningful to me. I thought Twitter was going to be the hardest thing to be away from, and in the end, it ended up being something I might not go back to right away.
Right. Well, we appreciate you taking the time out tonight to even join us for
this.
To see you guys. Yeah, and like for our Patreon crew, when I emailed Gary this, it was almost instant. He's like, "I'm in." Making sure like it's still 6 p.m. to 7:30, and like he was into this, so he wanted to be here for you guys just as much. Let's get to some questions.
Yeah.
Pull some?
Yep. There's a question from Rebecca. Rebecca asked, registration for volunteer opens January 15th for Squamish 50/50. Is it difficult to get in as a volunteer?
That's a fair question, because last year we did we sold out, if you will. You don't have to pay to volunteer, but we reached a cap for maximum volunteers. It doesn't happen quickly. What we do, we need 250 volunteers to make the Squamish 50/50 races happen. And last year we reached our limit right around July. So, pardon me. But the benefit that many people might not know is if you volunteer, you automatically get early entry into the following year. Meaning you don't need to worry about the 50K selling out in 6 minutes, because you volunteered, so you can register 2 weeks before the race. And when the race goes live, you're already in while everybody else is fighting for the spots that are available. So what we have is, because there are multiple races throughout the weekend, we'll have international runners that'll come and do a 50 miler on Saturday, and they'll volunteer for 4 hours on the Sunday. And it really helps actually build the community of runners around the event. It's been really intriguing to see not only what that's constructed, what it's led to, and the attachment that people have had with the event, but again, the fact that we max out at volunteers. We have to start saying no at one point to we can't just take 350 volunteers, because there's just not a need for that. So you're going to want to register, but it's not a rush like it is to get into the race itself.
Awesome.
Question from Randy in the chat room. Randy wants to know, what is your website for finding your training plans?
Ridgelineathletics.com. On ridgelineathletics.com, it lists all our coaching services, and there's everything in there from one-on-one coaching to phone consults to customized training programs. So we can build a customized program for you specifically, where you're not investing in a month-to-month coaching program. And then we've got our pre-constructed downloadable programs on how to train for a specific distance. And I've been really fortunate that Ridgeline Athletics, with my partner Eric Carter, who's one of the top ski mountaineer racers and mountaineers in North America, that we're almost 5 years in, and we actually hired 2 assistant coaches this year. And through our brand, Ridgeline Athletics, we're over 50 athletes that we work with right now. So
awesome.
It's really quite a time in ultra running and trail running, where so many people are open to learning from others and investing in coaching services. And we offer what I feel like is a bit of everything for everybody. So you can find us on ridgelineathletics.com. You can reach out to us through there, contact and shoot a message through there if you need to get a hold of me.
Sweet.
A question from Connor. Connor wants to know, are you doing any heat training for HURT?
That's a good question, Connor. I have been to the HURT Hawaii races 8 times. I've run it 4 times. I've never done heat training. And the last time I ran it in 2016, it was a huge mistake. The reason I was not able to hang closer to the front for longer was because of how the heat hit me that day. There wasn't a breeze like there normally is up on the ridges. It was just, they have this thing in Hawaii called VOG, which is volcanic fog. And that can set in when the winds kind of stagnate. The heat really affected me in 2016. And it wasn't until the sun set that I started making time again on Jeff Browning, but he was too far off the front to close that gap at that point. So I will be doing heat training for the HURT 100 for the very first time.
What does that entail for you coming from Vancouver?
Heat training is a 2 to 3 week process, so there's no benefit going beyond 3 weeks. If you start heat training more than 21 days out, there's no science that says that that's going to be of benefit. And I was surprised to learn this, but heat training, apparently the data says that you get the same benefit from any form, whether it's a dry sauna or a hot tub or just anything that's actually generating that heat on your body. Dry sauna is what I do, and get a gym pass for a couple of weeks. And I'll start at 30-minute sessions, and I'll get up to probably an hour of a sauna session. And in the 14 days before the race, I'll do between 5 and 6 heat training sessions, and it will make a huge difference. The only time I've really targeted that was for my Western States run in 2010.
Right.
And that was one of the hot years, one of the many hot years. And it worked impeccably well. So I had a great run that year because I had put in heat training.
That's actually exciting to know that Gary's heat training for HURT. I'm curious what that's going to mean.
Less ice cream. I'll need less ice cream.
Less ice cream. I mean, that's the thing. Like you, as miserable as you were when we saw you coming through, you knew your solution. You were like, ice cream. And it was like,
or
okay.
he just wanted to see if we were foolish enough to run around the island and fetch him ice cream all day.
It was his little sadistic experiment.
Yeah.
It was his Gary Robbins experiment. Typical Gary. And we got so many rewards out of it. Like, I felt so alive helping Gary, and we knew what you were doing. You were helping us as humans.
I was helping you guys bond as a couple. See,
Yep.
I mean, look, you're still talking about what a wonderful experience it was. It was for you.
We got to stop
Thank
talking
you,
about it every
Gary.
night. Like every night. Like at dinner. Remember Hawaii with Gary?
Remember when Gary told us what to do? That was awesome.
Gary saved us. Sorry.
There's a couple of people in the chat room talking about we should set up a Ginger Runner, a GR Crew aid station at Squamish. Do you have aid station captains already taken care of? And if we were to set up a Ginger Runner specific aid station, is that something that maybe like Wham would be more open to, or?
That's it right there. So we thankfully now going on 7 years in Squamish have managed to create that community of people who own aid stations. And it's wonderful when you get to that point as a race director. So we've had the same people overseeing the same aid stations for many years now. We would welcome that, but it would also be difficult to just captain an aid station at that point. This now going for WHAM, we've got 10 aid stations for the 175K. And this is the first year we'll ever have some of those aid stations. So there's a unique opportunity there to get a group of people together. It would be super cool to have Ginger Runner support crew, Patreon supporters, especially since you guys are planning to be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Pam Smith's planning to win the women's race, so that's super cool too.
Yep. That's part of the aid station, is just making sure Pam Smith wins.
I'm going to race her. I will be racing
Well,
her.
it's going to be Kim and Pam Smith are the only 2 finishers. It'll be first and second. It's just a battle of who's first. Sorry, everyone else who's running.
And people are talking about smuggling Kim Wrinkle across the border right now. I'm not sure why.
I so want Kim Wrinkle to come to Canada. That'd be so amazing. We should do like a Kickstarter campaign.
When we drew his name, Kim like burst excitement. She's like, "Oh my God,
across
Kim
the
Wrinkle!" I was like,
house.
"What? That's great." Kim, if you're watching, I know you are. We really want you to go. So whatever we can do to make it happen, we'll make it happen.
And if you can't make the race that we drew you for, which I think was Diaz Vista, I think Wham would be right up Kim's wheelhouse as far as terrain.
Yeah. got all the difficulties, like truly, it's got all the hardships of hard rock, but without the altitude. The highest point on the WAM course is 2,100 meters, so 6,500, almost 7,000 feet. Nothing above that. So very, like, you can start experiencing some altitude sickness of 2,000 meters technically, but not something that's like game changing. It's very rare for someone at 2,000 meters to have something major occur.
Yeah. And I want to shout out Kim an additional moment because he reached 500,000 feet of vertical gain accumulated in 2018. When he wrote that figure, Kim Rinkle did. 500,000 feet of gain.
Incredible.
When I saw that, I was like, oh, I wonder what I'm at. 249,000. He has doubled what I've done this year. Kim, you could take on any of Gary's races and absolutely crush him, man. I know that Kim Rinkle also has his own plans, and he wants to do. I think he wants to go back to Bear. I don't know. I think he wants to plan on going back to Bear and make it his bitch. To be honest, but Kim Rinkle, of course, please go take up Diaz Vista if you can, because it is worth it. It is gorgeous up there. Gorgeous. Any other questions for Gary?
I don't think so. I think we should probably wrap it up so we can let Gary go here.
Gary's got a guest coming over. Just so everyone knows, you are all amazing. We hope you have a fantastic 2018, your holiday. Spend it with family, friends, whatever. We hope you have a wonderful, wonderful time. We'll see you in 2019. Because you're Patreon members, we're probably going to see you before then. I want to do a live stream with music, and I know we want to do a couple other posts. So we'll see you before the end of the year for sure. And of course, go follow Gary on social media. He's not on
You'll see nothing.
He doesn't update.
Tag me lots.
Tag him lots and everything. He'll love that. But of course, go check out his websites, ridgelineathletics.com, Coast Mountain Trail Series. All of his races are there. And thank him. Of course, thank him for joining us tonight. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you very much. And thanks everybody for tuning in for the post show and firing away some questions. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we'll definitely get him back for post-hurt. What happened? How did it go down? How did you set a new course record?
Yeah, we'll see how this unfolds.
We'll play win, lose, or draw.
Yeah, we'll actually play it.
We'll play it, yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Patreon crew. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks.
Merry Christmas.
Train hard, race harder.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.